This is WARZONEJONES. It's my Monday Night War review. And I gotta say, both shows were decent. Yeah, both of these shows were decent. I thought Impact was pretty good. And by the way, if you didn't know, Impact is coming back on Thursday nights. They said it right in the beginning of the show. And they probably should, because they was getting polarized in the raves. So I guess the Monday Night War might be officially over. I think they said they was going back on Thursday nights next week. I'm not for sure. I have to rewatch it, but Impact is going back on Thursday nights. But other than that, Impact was pretty good. This was a pretty good Impact in my opinion. Raw was a decent show, but I just felt like Impact was a little bit better. So moving on. Now Raw started off with Batista and John Cena. These guys for that beat the clock challenge matches, and I thought it was a little weird to have two guys to have beat the clock challenge matches. It's two guys. Like, what if the first guy loses? Like, then what? But these guys have beat the clock challenge matches. The winner, whoever beats the clock, gets to decide. Oh, I'm stuttering. Gets to decide the stipulation, in their match at the Over the Limit pay-per-view. But Batista had his match first. He was supposed to face The Miz. I was about to say John Cena. He's supposed to face The Miz, but The Miz didn't fight Batista because he had a doctor's note that excused him from this match because Batista basically knocked his block off. And so instead of The Miz fighting, he got his rookie Brian Danielson, whatever you want to call him, to face Batista. And these guys had a pretty good match. These guys had a real good match in my opinion. You wouldn't even think like that these guys had really good chemistry, but these guys had a pretty good match. Like Brian Danielson or Daniel Bryan, whatever the hell you want to call him, looked pretty good in my opinion. So he looked real good. This was a real good match. It's probably the best match on Raw in my opinion. And before the match, you had a little interaction with Sheamus and Batista. Those guys were basically talking trash to each other. But moving on from that, you had another match between Ted DiBiase versus John Morrison. This match was an okay match. The match, they basically had two matches in one, basically because the first match they had Ted DiBiase got counted out. He got counted out. He's being that typical heel, walking away. He's walking away from the match. Being a typical old school heel. But during that match, John Morrison did this nice 450 splash off the rope. He springboarded right off the rope. It was a nice 450 splash. A couple of fans was chanting, "That was awesome," and it was awesome. That was a real good. It was just a real good spot. But these guys had two matches in one. And the second match, who won that second match? I think it was disqualification. I can't even remember who won the second match. But I think it was a disqualification. But, what's his name? R-Truth here ran in during their second match. So, it looked like he's getting an R-Truth and Ted DiBiase feud. That's what it looked like is happening. And I was actually thinking, what the hell would they do with R-Truth? What are they going to do with him on Raw and Morrison? But other than that, the match they had was okay. It was an okay match. Let's talk about TNA. Now, TNA started off pretty good in my opinion. Some people probably going to say, oh, well, it was crap. But the simple fact is, you had Black Machismo, Jay Lethal, who usually do the Macho Man gimmicks. He did a Ric Flair gimmick this time. He did a Ric Flair impersonation that he didn't have it 100% spot on, but he did okay, I would say. He did okay. He clearly does the Black Machismo thing, the Macho Man thing, way better than he does the Ric Flair thing, but it was okay nonetheless, I would say. It was pretty entertaining, at least in my opinion, it was pretty entertaining. But Ric Flair comes out, and he's pissed off. He is completely pissed off. He's smacking Jay Lethal. After a while, Jay Lethal smacks him back. These guys get into it, and somewhere during that altercation, Jay Lethal has Ric Flair in the finger for a leg lock, and then basically all the guys who hangs around Ric Flair comes out. James Storm, the Beer Money, AJ Styles, Desmond Wolfe. These guys come out and they start beating up on Black Machismo and Jay Lethal. Then a couple more guys come out to help him. RVD, Team 3D, and Abyss. These guys come out to basically help Jay Lethal. And then after a while, Hulk Hogan comes out. And Hulk Hogan, he comes out basically like Superman, and he just lays everybody out with one punch. I ain't like that. Like a guy a swing at him, he'll block it, and then bam, that's it. Like they're laid out. I ain't really too much like that. It's not really too much of a burial, but I just didn't like the way he was just laying guys out left and right like that. But he comes out, and after a while, he after he clears the ring, he sets up a couple of matches. He set up a main event match between RVD and Desmond Wolf. Well, basically the fans set that up. It looked like that might be real. Let them know. Some people think that's a work, but Desmond Wolf got the most votes on TNA.com to get a title shot, and he got a title shot. But I thought it was going to be at a pay-per-view, but we got it on Impact, which I'm okay with. You know, some people probably not be okay with that. They'd rather have it on pay-per-view, but I'm okay with it nonetheless. But he makes a couple of matches. Desmond Wolf versus AJ Styles. Desmond Wolf versus RVD for the title. Team 3D versus Beer Money versus Motor City Machine Guns and Jay Lethal. Why do I keep saying Jay Lethal? AJ Styles. That's what I'm trying to say. AJ Styles versus Abyss in a Monster Ball match. And the Monster Ball match, these guys had a pretty good Monster Ball match. All the AJ Styles and Abyss matches, they're all good. Those matches are pretty good. And these guys had a real good Monster Ball match. It was pretty entertaining. I can't even think of the word I'm trying to say here, but it was a real good match. So nonetheless, they had a really, really good match. AJ Styles wins, with some assist of Ric Flair and that girl Chelsea. Let's talk about Raw. Back to Raw. Now you had John Cena. John Cena wrestled Chris Jericho. At least that's what you thought he was going to do. He's supposed to have wrestled Chris Jericho in his Beat the Clock Challenge match, but nope, he didn't wrestle Chris Jericho. Jericho backs out, but unlike The Miz, he didn't have an excuse. He backed out basically because he wanted to. Hey, he's a heel. That's Chris Jericho for you. He gets his rookie Wade Barrett to come in to face John Cena, and John Cena, the clock he had to beat was 5 minutes. Those guys, they went in and they wrestled. They didn't really do nothing, but you got John Cena chain wrestling. Like, he's been chain wrestling lately. He's doing all these transitions, all these holds, like arm locks, neck lock, like master lock. Like, he's doing all these different locks now. So you got John Cena trying to chain wrestle now. Guess he's trying to do something different, but he's trying to chain wrestle. But eventually he does beat Wade Barrett. He beats him. Surprise, he beats him in under 5 minutes, and as he's getting ready to name stipulation for his match, none other than the Celtic Warrior comes in, Sheamus. He comes in, attacks John Cena, lays him out. So we didn't get to hear the stipulation John Cena was going to come up with. I actually thought that Batista was going to win this match. I'm starting to think that now that Batista is probably going to win at the pay-per-view. I really thought that Batista was going to win this Beat the Clock Challenge match, but nope, he lost. He lost nonetheless, but then again, there are rumors that Batista is leaving. I ain't got too much time on here left, but let's talk. They had a cutting edge. They had the cutting edge with Randy Orton and Edge, and even Wayne Brady was dead. Edge, he's talking about he's tired of this PG crap. Hey, Edge, I feel you. Like all that stuff he was saying that he was tired of the whole PG rating. And he spoke for all the internet fans on there. He spoke for all the Attitude Era fans. He spoke for everybody. So, hey, we know how you feel. He spoke for us on that one. But the cutting edge segment was, it was okay. It was pretty good. It was a decent segment. Didn't really nothing happen that was really too big except for Wayne Brady. He got RKO'd. Wayne Brady got RKO'd. And even Edge got RKO'd. But other than that, the segment was still pretty decent. It was a pretty decent segment. So Randy Orton and Edge, these guys clearly going to have a feud, and their feud is going to continue. But it was a pretty good segment, in my opinion. Wayne Brady, he gets RKO'd. And even, what else we had? Yeah, Divas match. I want to talk about, what is that girl name, this diva name? All these divas look alike. I can't think of this diva's name. Maurice, not only is she fast, one of the things that Maurice has that's different from a lot of those girls is she has a lot of charisma. Like, Maurice has a lot of charisma. And that's what makes her so good. She's not a great wrestler. She's okay, but she got a lot of charisma. She's not great at all, but she got a lot of charisma. But, that's pretty much all I want to talk about. Oh, the match between Desmond Wolf and RVD, that was pretty good. RVD, he retains his title. And the match it wasn't too long. I would say it's about 11, maybe it was like 10 minutes, maybe it was like 7 minutes, somewhere around that. But TNA Impact was a pretty good show, in my opinion. It was a real good show. And Raw was decent. I thought Impact was good and Raw was decent. So, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to my channel. This is WARZONEJONES. I'm out.